Okay, for our final video in this demonstration series, what I want to do is show you how to connect Dremio to Superset so you can get started building dashboards using Apache Superset, which is an open source BI tool. But it's not the only BI tool that works with Dremio. Pretty much any BI tool you can think of, such as Tableau, Power BI, and others, all work with Dremio. Now, basically, when you get to this screen, which will be on localhost 888, the username and password are going to be admin and admin. So I'm just going to click sign in. Okay, and I am signed in. And now all I have to do is just establish a connection to Dremio. Now, in the documentation for the repository, I do have a link to where, so right here you can see blog on how to connect Superset to Dremio. That's probably going to be a good place to take a look at just for the reference URL. So you can scroll pretty much all the way to the bottom. Right here is where you can find the sample URL you need to create your connection. So if you were using Dremio Cloud or cloud managed version of Dremio, you would use this URL and you would generate a token, and then you would put that token in the URL. While I'm using Dremio software, the self-managed version of Dremio, which is going to use this URL, and I'm going to just begin constructing it right here in the browser. So as you saw when we did Python, my username is Alex Merced, so you'd put whatever username you configured. And then for the password, I put down password 2024. And since this is running on my laptop, I set up the host as Dremio. So if you use my Docker Compose setup, that'll be the same case for you as well. So there's the URL, and we're good to go. Okay, so now I can head over to Superset, click over here on Database Connections, and basically say, hey, I want a new database. I'm going to scroll down and choose Other. And I'm going to call this Dremio. Put in the URL right here, okay, with all that information. Then I'm going to click Test Connection just to make sure that it all works. Connection looks good. Now I hit Connect. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am now going to be connected to Dremio, and I can begin building BI dashboards. Okay, and generally, like the flow in Superset, essentially what you do is you're going to add data sets, so we need to connect particular like tables and views to Superset, and then we can use those data sets to create charts, and then we can organize all those charts onto dashboards. But let's just show you just kind of how you would basically do that basic part. So we'll say, hey, plus data set. Let's just kind of connect our Dremio here, and we're gonna use our shipping data set here, so final shipping info. And then we can see that it recognizes the schema of the data. Perfect. And now we can create a chart. So let's say I wanted to create like a bar chart. I can click bar chart. And let's just say that I wanted to take a look at the amount, so the amount of each order based on, and I want to get the, we'll just say the average amount based on the customer ID. So how much is what's the average that each customer ID is ordering? Okay, I can set all those details and then hit create chart, and then it will create a chart. Okay, and there we go. We've just built a chart, and I can then give this chart a name. So we'll just say, hey, average order amount by customer ID. Save. Okay, I'm not going to add it to a dashboard yet. Then I could theoretically create a new dashboard. So I can go over here and say, hey, I want to add a new dashboard. Okay, and then I can go here and take a look at my charts and just drag them over and then create a visual with all my different charts. And generally, it's going to be the same workflow for any BI tool. But you notice that basically, I don't have to do as much work here because I've already prepared all my data in Dremio. And then again, if any of these charts aren't loading fast enough, I can turn on a reflection in Dremio, and basically minimizing all the work here, I can just focus on creating the visual, creating the right setup to get the insights that I need, instead of really spending a lot of time doing prep work at this level, which at this level might not necessarily be as performant versus having that processing being done on a Dremio cluster. Okay, and Dremio makes it really easy for a lot of DI tools. So for example, if I go to, let's go to the weather prep dataset. So I'm going to head over to the dataset. Weather prep. Okay. Now notice when I'm in this particular view that there's a Tableau button and a Power BI button. So it gets even easier when you're using Power BI and Tableau, because these buttons, what they'll do is they'll generate a file for you to establish a direct connection right to Tableau and Power BI, making just getting set up and generating a visual on that data set much quicker. But again, pretty much you can connect to any BI tool that allows you to establish a JDBC connection using the Dremio drivers, making, giving Dremio a lot of reach. So again, you could see that you could load it up into Python, where you can create visualizations directly in your notebook, or use Streamlit to create like a Streamlit app. You could load up Dremio into a BI tool, and you could also, again, in those Python notebooks, train your AI and ML models on the data that's already been prepared within Dremio. So Dremio just really makes it easy for you to wrangle all that data to deliver to the use cases that you have. This basically makes your life easier, and that is the goal, and empowers especially your business users who may not be as technical with things like SQL to be able to get a lot more done and do a lot more self-serve. So with that, I'll see you all later. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this series of demos, and have a great day.